Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, one half of the Dynamic Duel, Thoughts from Your Boy podcast, as well as one half of Rise A Sonova. So, I have a series that I've been doing, my journey with mental health. Today, I'd like to start with how long I've been dealing with it. So, like I said, or like I keep reiterating, I had a traumatic experience when I was 7. Then I got into trials and tribulations of life that became traumatic as well. By the time I was 21, I officially was diagnosed and told that I had a mental illness. So technically, I guess I've been living with it since I was 7, but I've been going through it consciously for the last 25 years. So in the last 25 years, I learned that sometimes I'm an asshole when I'm on medicine. 25 years, I learned that some of the ways that I tried to deal with things, people, situations, were wrong. So knowing that I dealt with things the wrong way, it bothered me. It bothered me, and it bothered the people around me. I tried to, I ain't even gonna say self-medicate, because yes, I did use alcohol as a vice, but I used women as a vice as well. And this is gonna sound crazy, and this is not a justification for anybody trying to come up with an excuse why they do what they do, but it maybe help you understand why you do what you do. So in my vice, when I say I use women, anytime I had a problem that I couldn't face, couldn't deal with, I got up under a woman. When I had women, when I didn't have one, I got up under one, a different one. And so that became promiscuous behavior. In the military, adultery or promiscuous behavior is not looked upon, it's frowned upon. It's frowned upon in the eyes of the people in charge. It's frowned upon as organization. I mean, but it happens. And I'm not saying I'm any different than any other man, except for the fact I did mine on purpose. And it took me a long time to realize that I used women as a vice and did not know it. I did not know it. So, like I said, for a good while, I didn't know that I was doing that until I got therapy and I talked about how did I deal with this, or what was I doing when I was coping with this. And so the depression part, like I said, it came in spurts at first. But upon messing up my Marine Corps career, because I did some instinctual things that could have been avoided.
You on the phone?
I'm making a video.
Oh, because your auntie wanted to talk to you.
I'll call her right back.
He said he'll call you right back. He's making a video.
Sorry about that. So I was going through things and I made irrational decisions. I made wrong choices and I threw my own career away. I could have did 25, 30 maybe, and I did 6 because of bad judgment. Anywho, I say that to say, just because you're doing something right now in the present doesn't mean you're actually doing it because of a good reason. Some of the things we do out of, not unconsciously, things that we do unconsciously when dealing with a mental illness, we do a lot of things unconsciously to help us feel better, help us move on through a situation. And it's wrong to everybody else around you. It's wrong to the people that care about you. And, you know, like I said, mine being a vice with women, I had a wife while I was in the military. I'm not going to say I cheated on her because our relationship was over probably before it even started, actually. But we stayed on paper together. So on paper, it benefits the enlisted because they get extra money. If they're on paper and the person wants money, it puts money in their pocket as well. Or, you know, the sum, however you decide to break it down, it's on you. I'm not telling you to do that. That's negative and don't do that. But yeah. So you might have a vice that you don't know that you have. It might be something you do, like I said, subconsciously, unconsciously. But when you sit down with a therapist and somebody asks you a direct question like, hey, when this situation happened, how did you feel? What did you do? What was your actions after this happened? And you start coming up with patterns of things that you do, then you be like, oh, that was my vice. So, like I said, I used to drink here and there, but women were more my vice than anything else. And it's sad because out of my whole life, I've only had 5 or 6 women that I really, really cared about. Maybe 7 now, maybe. But I only had 5 or 6, maybe 7 women that I really, really cared about, that I really gave my heart to. And still I fucked them over at some point because of my vices or because of my depression or because of mood disorder, manic depression, bipolar. Like the list goes on. But I suffered through the goods and the bads in a lot of relationships just because I didn't like being by myself. Now, I don't know if any of y'all have ever had that feeling, but I get out of character when I'm lonely. I get out of character when I'm lonely. I get out of character when I'm angry. So I don't get angry anymore, but I do still get lonely. So I do still get out of character sometimes. Not as bad as before the medication. And I'm going to keep preaching that. Like, not everybody needs psych meds to be okay. But you definitely don't need street pharmaceutical drugs to be okay. Those things are just going to drive you deeper and deeper into whatever hole, rut, problem that you're already in. It's just going to drive you deeper. I'm not very peopleable nowadays, even though y'all see me on the podcast. I'm very talkative. I have great points. I talk, I speak. I'm not very peopleable. So I don't really do a lot of people. If I talk to you, it's because I feel a genuine connection, or I feel like I could help benefit you in your life in some kind of way. I go in every situation as me being the beneficiary, not benefactor. I don't know, maybe I said that wrong. But to digress, yes, dealing with mental illness for 25 years, I think I deal with it better than most. I actually take my medicine the way I'm supposed to sometimes, not all the time. But I still go through ups and downs. I still have highs and lows. I still struggle with loneliness. I don't use women as a vice as much anymore. But in some way, I think I still do. Maybe more consciously than unconscious nowadays. But yes, if you constantly revert back to doing one thing every time a situation puts you in this predicament or this mindset, that's probably your vice. And like I said, your vice could be anything. But whatever your vice is, it's probably hindering you from getting better, if you want to look at it that way. Like I said, therapy, definitely for anybody dealing with mental illness. Medicine, maybe, if they find the right mixture for you. Do your research on the meds before you start taking them. Look at the side effects. Read what the majority of people say about that. And I know that seems like homework, and who wants to do that? Who wants to be zoned out? Who wants to be on something that's going to make you worse before it makes you better? You got to ask yourself that. What's more important to you? For me, it was being present for my children, my daughter, my son. I got to be me. I got to be back to me being level, not me quiet and docile, not me angry and aggressive, me at even chill. I even felt like I had did a woman wrong and tried to rekindle a relationship when I felt like I was on the right medicine. The relationship didn't work, but I realized I looked at it from a different standpoint when I wasn't medicated properly than when I was. I'm a lot more sensible now. I make more sense to me, to other people, things make sense to me, period. So if you want to quit going through life with a foggy haze, very little vision, and I'm not talking about physically, very little vision, very little intent, very little effort, very little purpose, keep doing what you're doing. But if you want to try and get better to the best of your ability and not try to use it as a crutch or a kick me when I'm down type thing, you only doing this because I'm right. If you don't want to use it for those reasons, get help. Help starts with you before it starts with anybody else. You got to realize, like the AA program or Addiction Anonymous, whatever it's called. You got to realize you are the problem. Not the people around you, but you. Once you realize you are the problem, then you can begin taking the proper steps to fix it. Some people fix their mental illness or part of it by getting in a relationship. I'm not going to say that can't happen, but then you're putting too much dependency on another person. So if that other person leaves you, gets out of your life, whatever happens, that things aren't copacetic anymore, it'll throw you deeper and plunge you deeper into your darkness. So when I say that, I'm saying in the height of mental illness, not being treated, not knowing that you have it, you're in darkness. You're walking through life with a fog. You don't know what's going on. You could be here, but you're not here, present. Think about that. I'm trying not to make these videos too long. I want y'all to watch them. So with that being said, I'm your host, Dysfunctional World. Peace.